I'm not sure if you can tell, but this room just got a little more high-flying. There is one more person in this room that can dunk than there was a few minutes ago. You ready to get this started? Let's go. All right. I am Kyle Belanger, and you are at the 60 Days of Summer, the tail end of your summer, no less, which why today is even more special. The 60 Days of Summer, 60 consecutive days of family-friendly entertainment here at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame underneath the watchful eyes of all of the Hall of Famers above us. Some days that means you can come and learn to play hoop with the UMass basketball team. Other days that means skills clinics. We have one of those tomorrow. Other days that means you can meet Hall of Famers, and today you get to meet a slam dunk champion. Not just any slam dunk champion. Now, I teach at Springfield College, where we invented the game of basketball, but my guest today is certainly doing his best to try to change and perfect it. For the next 20 minutes, my guest and I will go back and forth, have a conversation, just the two of us. I'm going to throw him some lobs while he tells his story. After that, some of you will get to ask Hamidou Diallo a question. We'll ask for some volunteers, maybe 3, 4 of you will get that opportunity. And after that, the fun keeps rolling, because at that table right over there, on my right and your left, he's gonna sit and spend some time signing autographs for each and every one of you. Not a bad plan, right? Yeah. I thought so too. So let me introduce our guest today. Hamidou Diallo is the 2019 Slam Dunk Champion, a shooting guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder, a former Kentucky Wildcat, a native of Flushing, Queens. He played his prep ball right down the road at Putnam Science Academy in Putnam, Connecticut. And he is the 3rd consecutive dunk champion to join me here at the 60 Days of Summer. Ladies and gentlemen, Hamidou Diallo. Welcome to Springfield, man.
Definitely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited whenever I get to sit this close to someone whose career is really just starting to kick in. I love it because there's so much territory to cover. You've done so much already, but then there's still so much ahead. So I want to go all the way back, if you don't mind, to Queens. You're a Queens guy. Your game is about as New York as it gets. Yep. And I love that about it, right? I mean, you can tell when a guy's Philly ball. You can tell when you're playing and you can really tell when you're playing with a New York baller. And you played in your Corona neighborhood. You're a LaFrac City guy. Can you talk a little bit about the way that your childhood helped to shape you, not only as a man, but also as a baller?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like growing up in my neighborhood, basketball was my only outlet. So each and every day, that's all I pretty much knew how to do, and when to do it, it didn't matter. But I always was walking around with the basketball. And many people say, you got to keep chasing your dreams, but I chased my dream for 20 years for me to actually achieve something and feel like, wow, I really accomplished something big, and for my family and parents to be happy for me, so.
It's really exciting too when you think about that neighborhood and LaFrac City. You had some NBA guys to look up to in there too. I'm thinking about Kenny Smith, Kenny Anderson. Was there a moment when their star, do you think that maybe your experience as someone who could look up to those two guys would be different than someone who didn't have a couple of NBA guys who came out of their neighborhood? Did you actively chase their star? Were you really trying to do what they did? Did you seek them out?
To be honest, I never really thought it was possible.
Really?
Just growing up, Kenny Anderson, Kenny Smith, those were like household names.
Yeah.
And for you to be a kid playing basketball, saying you want to be Kenny Smith or Kenny Anderson is like, man, you and all the other 500 kids.
Yeah.
So it was like, there's nobody ever believed. So you just got to keep working and just put your mind to it and put your best foot forward.
Hamidou, I can't wait to talk to you about your service to your neighborhood and because it really follows the man that I've been following you through your recruitment and stuff. Because you're not a guy who, we weren't reading about you in 8th grade because of all the camps you were going to. You're a guy who worked your tail off in public school and found your way. In fact, it wasn't until about 2015, that summer, with your Jayhawks AAU team, that your star really began to rise. And then you find your way down to Connecticut, to the Putnam Science Academy. You played at the Hoop Hall Classic. It was the first time I saw you play. I'll never forget it. Give me a sense of that decision for a guy who was so dedicated to your home, to then choose, after people started talking about you, to then choose to leave home and to go to prep school. Was that difficult for a young guy who was so rooted in his home?
Yeah, definitely, it was difficult, but I just felt like it was something that I had to do to accomplish the goals that I wanted to accomplish, because living in New York City, you're just put in a nutshell, and it's like, oh, you're only gonna reach this certain ceiling, and you can't do this, you can't do that. But I always thought I was better than every player that I played against, no matter like what ranking you was, who you was, what offers you had, or what school you was going to. I always thought I was better, so I just felt like I needed a better platform, and that's what Putnam Science Academy gave me. And once they gave me the platform, I never looked back.
Never looked back at all. And your star rose so quickly that, like I mentioned, many of the kids in your class, guys in your class, had eyes on them, were getting letters since they were in 9th and 10th grade, which makes your recruitment even more incredible. Can you recall the first time that Coach Cal came and maybe you realized that not only am I reaching my dreams, but this is happening quickly? What was your recruitment like with Coach?
The first time Coach Cal came to Putnam Science, I was nervous.
Were you?
I mean, it's University of Kentucky. I mean, every kid wants to go there.
Yeah.
It's either Kentucky or Duke, and Coach Cal was he didn't even give me really no notice. Like, I found out the morning of, and he was playing pickup, and I mean, after I got to talk to him, he could tell I was a little nervous, but it was a real cool process. I mean, they went down to Kentucky and UConn for me, and I just chose to go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I love how you know exactly where you're sitting right now. Your recruiting class was fun too. And no one restocks the shelf like Cal, yep. Right? And so I think about you, Kevin Knox, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, PJ Washington, and being recruited in 2015, 2016, 2017. It's not like it was for guys who came a long time before you, because thanks to social media, you know these guys. You know Kevin, you know PJ, you know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you know Kevin Knox, you guys know each other. Was there a level of excitement as you were one of the last ones to commit. Yeah. Was there a level of excitement as the four of you were starting to realize what you could build towards the next year?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it was more of us recruiting each other.
Yeah.
So like, I think the first person to commit was Quade Green.
Yep.
And once he committed, I knew I wanted to play with him, so I committed. Uh-huh. And then Shea committed, and then PJ committed, and then Kevin was the last one to commit. But, I mean, we just all really wanted to play with each other, and we felt like that was the platform for us to go show what type of players we were.
So draft night comes, and your draft night in 2018 is among the most crazy draft nights. As a total hoop nerd, watching you go 45th overall to Brooklyn, then to Charlotte, then to Oklahoma City. I have two questions. One is, can you take us through all the emotions of that night? And the other is, did you get to keep those hats?
Yeah, I got to keep the Brooklyn hat, and they didn't let me put on the Charlotte hat because the trade happened so fast. So.
Yeah. So what was that like emotionally for you? To see Brooklyn had to feel real special. But then to have all of that chaos, did your agent let you know that all of this was going to happen, or did it feel like the movie was moving too quickly at that point?
The movie was moving very fast. I mean, I got drafted 45th. I walked across the stage. Now my family meets me in the back. I'm taking pictures with a Brooklyn hat, and my agent pulls me to the side like, "Hey, take that hat off. They're gonna bring you another hat right now." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, "Oh, you're going to Charlotte." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we stopped taking pictures for a little bit. Uh-huh. And now the guy's bringing the Charlotte hat, but he said, just take one picture with it and give it back. Like, don't take a picture with your family. So I never seen the picture with me in the Charlotte hat. Never. And then he brings the Oklahoma City hat and is like, you could take pictures with this with your family, but you can't keep it. So I don't even have an Oklahoma City draft night hat, but
That's interesting. They're like, we need that back.
definitely, I definitely need that back.
So your rookie year was so much fun for a number of reasons. But the real highlight, I know, at least from the fans' perspective, came obviously in February at the dunk contest. Before we get into your incredible performance, I want to ask about how your reputation as a high flyer is known worldwide, and it should be. How do you first find out that you can be involved? Do they ask you? Do you stand up? Is there some secret meeting where you're like, hey, I want you to know that I want to do that thing?
For the dunk contest?
Yeah.
It was something that me and my agent talked about all year, but I mean, at the end of the day, the league has to vote you in and want you to be in it as well. You can want to be in it so much, but if nobody wants you in it, you're not going to be in it. So I was a late addition, so a player got hurt, and then they was looking for an extra guy to pick up, and they picked me up, and
that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, the rest is history.
What is it about? I often, this is, as I mentioned in your intro, now you're our third consecutive dunk contest champion that's met here the 60 Days of Summer. Donovan Mitchell, Glenn Robinson III have been here in the past 2 years. And I love asking them this, so I'm going to ask you the same thing. What about that event speaks to the way that you play? Is there something, because you could argue, I think, fans of a certain age are probably like, how many more dunks can they really do? But then they watch you and like the artistry is there. So what about that event speaks to your style?
I mean, you just have to be creative, and you have to have a certain swagger and approach about the whole dunk contest, because it's not just dunking that's going to get you to win. I mean, you got to get the crowd involved and get the right people on your side.
That is so true. And speaking of getting the right people on your side, you, with your dunks, over the celebrities that you dunked over in that contest, did they know ahead of time? Did you let Shaq, did you let Quav know that you might be calling on them?
I didn't let Quavo know. I didn't speak to him. I was supposed to jump over Dwayne Wade because that was my favorite player, but Dennis Smith used Dwayne Wade before me, so I didn't want to keep using Dwayne Wade. And
so Quavo was next man up?
Yeah, he was just the next man up right there. And so I asked him, and he was with it. And Shaq, we spoke prior, but
cool.
It was always like just a thought process.
Yeah.
So I never really practiced the dunk over Shaq. I never.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Size differential between D Wade and Quavo. We talking?
D Wade, I think, is taller. Yeah, D Wade is way taller. But I mean, it made it a little easier.
You still crammed over Quavo. Yeah. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Now, this is the moment that I let y'all know. I only have 3 questions left for Hamidou Diallo. So if you have a question for the reigning slam dunk champion, start to think about it now, start to formulate it, because after this next question, I'll ask for volunteers. One of my friends at the Hoop Hall staff will select a small handful of you and put you in a line right here on our right, your left. So start thinking now. Now, your Oklahoma City team is a team that's in flux this year, which means that your minutes, you have got to be so fired up about this team moving forward. What's been different for your preparation this season versus your preparation for last season going in as a rookie?
I would say it's the same preparation. I mean, each and every day I go out there and I try to get better. No matter who's on the roster, no matter what players we're going to be playing against, I just try to focus on my craft. So I think everything's the same, but as you said, I mean, of course we got a new roster change. A couple of our star players got traded and whatnot. But I feel like we're still a good team. We're really young, and it's going to be an interesting year. And I feel like I just can't wait till we all get in the gym together and we start putting the pieces together.
That's got to be coming up, right? Y'all, in the next couple weeks, you're going to be in the gym together. That's exciting. Do you have a question for Hamidou Diallo? Put your hands in the air right now, and the great Hoop Hall staff will assemble a small group of you on our right, your left. I want to talk about your service work, because you are a guy who clearly hasn't forgotten your own story. Like it's amazing to me to think about the work that you do. And if you had to Google Hamidou's name and the work he does for his neighborhood, can you talk about your dedication not only to providing camps for kids in your neighborhood, but also to make sure that that everyone has access to it? Can you talk a little bit about that and why that's important to you?
I would just say me growing up, I didn't have access to all the top camps in the country. I didn't have access to Kenny Anderson, Kenny Smith. I mean, yeah, we grew up in the same neighborhood, but I didn't have access to them. So for me, I feel like I was once these kids that's growing up in my neighborhood. So every year, if I could just take 2, 3, 4 days out of my time and just spend it with them and do things to help them be better people. And if basketball is what you want to do, become a better basketball player. But we're not only preaching basketball at my events. I mean, we're preaching like actual life skills and trying to teach these kids. I mean, that growing up, you might not know what you want to do now, but if you prepare yourself and you train every day and you try to get better at whatever you want to be, it's not only just basketball. Only God knows where it could take you.
You're an inspiration, honestly. I love just the ability for you to stay, and you probably see it not just in the kids' eyes, but also the mom's eyes. I mean, you're making an impact for whole families. Was that part of the mission?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we all know, I mean, Left Rack City, I mean, not many people are not like fortunate to pay for camps or do all those type of things. So my whole event was free, like my camp, my all-star game, I mean, free food, giveaways, and just to try to inspire the kids and try to take them out of the nutshell that they've been held in all year and try to take them out and have them live like a reality for like a couple of days and have them see what it's like and have interaction with me. Like at the event, I'm talking to whoever speaks to me, I mean, and just try to keep motivating these kids and because the kids are our future.
Let's talk a little bit about, I want to close now by asking you about this moment right here, because you have done so many things and you have got years and years left of professional basketball in your future. But this moment right here, underneath the Hall of Famers, sitting on center court at the Hall of Fame as reigning dunk champion with all of these fans who've driven to see you today, what is this moment like for you?
This is great. I mean, because I grew up and I played in the Hall of Fame Classic and I played in Putnam, Connecticut, so I know there are a couple people here that watched me play when I was in high school and seen my development. So for you guys to keep following me and keep watching me and keep supporting me, I truly appreciate it and can't wait to see what's next in my chapter. And any questions you guys got for me, any interactions you guys want to talk to me about, very open. I'm an open book, and I appreciate you guys again.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hamidou Diallo. All right, Hamidou, I didn't warn you in advance, but these are the hard questions, so just get ready. Hey, let's bring them on. I'll take the first one. I have 2 requests for those of you who are asking questions. One is that you introduce yourself to Mr. Diallo before, tell him what your name is and where you're from, and then let me hold the microphone. Great, go ahead.
My name is Kyle Stringer, and I am from Canterbury, Connecticut.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
What's your question, Kyle?
My question is, what was your favorite memory at PSA?
Oh, that's a good question. My favorite memory at PSA, well, I would say my first year. So PSA, I wasn't recruited by PSA. I went there because of basically my cousin and my brother, Hamidou Diallo. And I wasn't supposed to play my first year. I was really young. I think I was in the 10th grade and I was playing against postgraduates. So I wasn't supposed to play, and that was the goal for me and my coaches, was just to get better each and every day and not worry about playing time because the guys were older than me. But I ended up just working and working and working, and I ended up being the starting 2 guard of the team. So things could just change like in a quick second.
Wow.
Thank you, Kyle.
Definitely.
+5 for the name. Hey, how are you? What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Olivia Clough, and I'm from Westminster, Vermont. And my question is, what did Shaq say to you after you dunked on him?
First, what he said before I dunked on him, so as I brought him up, he said, "Young fella, you better clear me." And I'm looking at him like, man, you're a big guy. I'm going to try my hardest. And it all worked out, so.
Thank you, Olivia. That's a great question. You could have my job. That's fantastic. Come on, bud. He is a mountain of a man. Hey, how are you, son?
My name is Jason Solomon. I'm from New York, New York. And my question is, which one was the hardest dunk for you?
Jumping over Shaq was definitely my hardest dunk. I was so nervous, so it wasn't really that hard. It was just my nerves, and I didn't know what would happen right before I took off, so I just prayed.
Thank you, Jason. Hey, bud. What's your name and where are you from?
I'm Nathan, and I'm from Springfield.
Great, Nathan. What's your question for Mr. Diallo?
Who's your favorite person on the Oklahoma City Thunder?
My favorite person?
Yeah, like your best friend.
Sorry, no one's listening. Just between the three of us.
I would say, he said Chris Paul. He just got here. I would say I liked all my teammates. I'm gonna keep it real political.
That's my guy. Great question, bud. I told you these were hard. Here, come on up, bud. How are you? What's your name and where are you from?
I'm Brandon, and I'm from East Meadow, Massachusetts. And my question is, who's the best player you ever dunked on? Like, not jumped over, but like dunked on.
The best player I ever dunked on, I mean, it's kind of tough because, I mean, now that I'm in the NBA and, like, most guys really don't jump that much. So I dunked on a couple guys in high school, but in the NBA I only dunked on a couple guys.
So who was like one of them?
I don't really remember.
When your eyes are above the rim, that's all you see. That's a great try, though.
That's a good question, though.
It is.
I really don't remember.
Thank you, buddy. I love your breakaway. Your dunks, the swats that you then feed yourself, it's just unbelievable. Yep. Unbelievable how fast. Here, come on up, bud.
Appreciate it.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name's Timothy, and I'm from Yonkers, New York. And my question is, who's your favorite basketball player besides you?
My favorite basketball player is Dwayne Wade. Growing up, I idolized him, and I just loved his swag and his demeanor on and off the court.
Okay.
Thank you, Timothy. All right, let's bring in the closer. I can tell this is on purpose. Look at all the OKC stuff. You've got the draft hat. What's your name and where are you from, buddy?
I'm Gabe Burrell, and I'm from Haddam, Connecticut. And as a Thunder fan for 8 years, this is a big deal. So, as all of the Thunder fans and NBA fans want to know, are you going in the dunk contest again?
Ooh, that's a great question. I seen a couple things on Instagram of like dream dunk contests and whatnot, but
Yeah.
if I'm invited back, I'll definitely be in it.
I think you could win again, honestly.
Definitely. I hope so, right?
Great question. Nice work, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, one last round of applause for Hamidou Diallo.
Thank you.
Now the fun is going to continue over at the autograph table. So there are two lines. The first, the one closest to me and down below, is the hall pass. So for all